Hey there, I'm Corey the Art Archaeologist. So I wanted to show up for this Treasure Hunting Tuesday video today and tell you about some treasures I just hunted up. So this kit right here is Pumpkin Spice #1, and I ended up with 2 of these kits, and I want to tell you a few things about it real quick before I show it to you. So I came across this paper, and it's probably been there forever. I just happened to notice it. This is Master's Touch mixed media paper, 110-pound weight, 60 sheets, 5.5 by 8.5 inch paper here. And then of course I always wait for this to go on sale half off. So I wanted to try this paper out, and I had 60 sheets, so I have 10 left in here, and I've got I made 5 kits of 10 pages out of this, so I ended up getting 20 pages per kit, of course, because they're double-sided. So I'm pretty impressed with this paper. Now, something else I've been doing too is I've been taking this Canson watercolor paper, and just because this is what I have on hand, and these are 9 by 12 sheets, so I've been taking a sheet out and cutting it, just whacking it in half, and using that to sandwich my kits to avoid getting great marks on the inside pages. Okay, so a few findings I wanted to go over with you about these kits, the way they're working out now. So these are 1/2 inch bigger than the other ones all the way around, which I'm really happy for because I want these smaller inner pages really encased and protected. So it works out perfect. And then I've been using a lot of feathers in my eco die kits lately, and I'm getting amazing results. These are the results I wanted in the sprayed feather and leaf video that I didn't get because I used too big of feathers and they were too 3-dimensional. So you're going to want to guard against that. The flatter your stuff, the better results you will get. Now, whenever you have a bigger page like this, I put this dye in my bath when I cooked these pages. So because these are bigger and they're the outer sheets, of course, they ended up with a darker border, which I think came out really neat, and I really even like the unevenness of it too. So I wanted to go over that and show you. And then this is the outer side. So this page was had leaves stacked on it, and then the gray, as you can see, the gray marks just come through no matter what I do. But I didn't get the border, of course, because there was no paper here to create that. So you're only going to get this on the inside side of your watercolor paper, right? So here's the other end of the sandwich, and it happened again, and I just think it really made such a neat border. And then this leaf is going over the border, and I just think that's pretty cool the way that came out. And then of course here's the other end, and I must have done a better job on this side because I can hardly see any great marks at all compared to this, but it's the luck of the draw. And this has, see how this has darker right here? This was probably the bottom, so that might have something to do with it. It's hard to keep track. Once you start doing these kits, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about if you haven't already, okay? So, and another curious thing about the watercolor paper versus the mixed media paper. I must have done all yellow, golden yellow, and I'm going to go over the colors in a second because the colors are really what make this a Treasure Hunt Tuesday video. But the difference in color on the watercolor paper is really drastic in comparison. I mean, look at that. This is more orange. This is more what I was after. This just has more yellow dye in it. And then this one, the orange on this watercolor paper is more red. So, you know, I'm using fabric dye, of course, RIT dye, which I will go over with you. Let's just do it now. And of course, I'm printing on paper, so it's different than fabric. You just can't gauge it like you can fabric, right? So I've got these colors, and I had talked before about how I wanted to mix my dyes and see, because I really wanted a rust color, or like a burnt orange kind of rusty color. So I ended up doing 2 kits, Pumpkin Spice 1 and Pumpkin Spice 2, as you saw in the beginning. And what I did was, for this kit here, I did about 30% of this bottle, the Sunshine Orange, and then I added to this, excuse me, 5% of the dark brown, and then I added another 5% of the wine to get this rusty color. And then I had a separate cup of the golden yellow, and I mix about 40% of the bottle with a full glass of hot water. I always use hot tap water to mix my dyes because they tend to mix better in hot, and I think that's pretty much true for anything. It's definitely true for the alum. And of course, these have all been sprayed with alum. I wanted to tell you real quick, guys, I've been messing with different microphones, and I'm getting a ton of feedback when I plug microphones into my camera, so I'm troubleshooting that. I know my sound quality has never been great, but I am working on it, so bear with me. I'm an artist, not a techie, so there you go. But here's this kit. And I really had fun making these, and I'm impressed with this paper. But at the same time, these are tougher to get a full journal page out of. Now, if you wanted to make minis, these would be perfect. And that's kind of the idea that I had in mind when I did these pages. So, but I like the results so much of this burnt orange. Here's a couple feathers here and a little sprig of leaves. I like this burnt orange color so much that I'm going to go ahead and do yet another batch of these, and I'm going to do them in the full 8.5 by 11 inch size, so that if you wanted to make full journal pages, of course, you would be able to do that. So I am having a blast making these kits, and a little while back I did a video of how we got a snowstorm here, which is totally unprecedented. It does not snow here until Halloween. That's normally our very first snow is right around Halloween. And autumn is my favorite. I was actually really grateful to see it, like I said, if you saw that video, because it really helped the firefighters. We have a bunch of that going on across the country now, of course, as everybody knows. And so I was grateful for that. And I'm really happy to report too that all the leaves are still looking lush and green, and I really, really hope that they don't just turn brown and fall off, as is the case usually when we have an early freeze. So, I'm just praying for a beautiful autumn. I have a lot of hiking planned this year. I'm really wanting to do a lot of hiking and photography this season, so I'm hoping I get to do that. The leaves are now starting to change, but I had to run out on Labor Day and spend like hours out collecting so that I could play a little longer this season and make a few more kits. So that's what I've been up to. I know I have so many, but you know, I can be kind of like a dog with a bone. When I start down a road that I really, really am attracted to, then I will stick with it for quite a long time. But, you know, like I have said recently, I'm also ready to move on and do other things. I want to do some paintings, and I've had to put my excavations on hold due to the eco-dyeing season, so I want to get back into that. I just wish I had more time in the day and more days in the week, you know what I mean? So here is this kit, and these are these grapevine leaves, and it's so funny. Everybody in my household right now is having vehicle problems, including me. So I wanted to go and get, these are in the city, and I am not in the city. So I wanted to go get a few more of these, and I'm afraid they may be ruined because of the snow. They're kind of more of a fragile leaf. So I'm gonna try to get some more of those because I think that they print so amazing. Here's another feather. So I really invite you to try some feathers in your eco dyeing. I think you'll be extremely happy with your results. But I wanted a real warm, excuse me, autumn kit. And I really wanted that pumpkin spice kind of vibe. I was actually born on Thanksgiving night. It's kind of a funny story. My mom had eaten Thanksgiving dinner and then waited a little while and had a piece of pie. And there was no room left for me, so I was born on Thanksgiving night, and my birthday falls every few years on Thanksgiving, and this year it is falling on Thanksgiving, so it's just kind of funny. It's got its good points and its bad points, you know, having your birthday on a holiday like that. But I'm excited about it, and of course I just love autumn. So now here's pumpkin spice too, and to the untrained eye, there's really no difference in these kits, but there is a slight difference, and that is that I went ahead and added another 5% of the wine to my orange and brown mix. So I wanted to try to get a more deep red color, and I succeeded somewhat. Now the watercolor paper, as you can see, I am not really into this color combination like I am the orange. It's just, this is for me a little bit too stark, and the red is a little bit too fire engine, and it's beautiful. And here's the great thing about this. I have not seen, I'm sure it's on the market, I just don't look for it. I haven't seen a red Rit dye, and the kits I've done with this wine have come out this color. Oh my goodness, they come out this neon pink. And while it's a beautiful color, this is just not my palette is earth. I really love earth tones and jewel tones. So this is really a bright one for me. And if you love it, this is the dye that you need to get to establish that color. But if you mix this with your dark brown, you can really get some red. Now, I haven't not done just those alone. This mix had the orange in it, like I said. So you can totally play with that. That's what I love about digging up treasure. And you know, I really am kind of embarrassed that I didn't do it sooner, because you can mix acrylics, you can mix watercolor, you can mix all these mediums to get different colors. And for the longest time, it just didn't cross my mind to do it with dye, and I'm not really sure why, but I really wanted a pumpkin spice color. Now here's this deep, you know, it's a real intense red. So if you like the red, I did about 10%, 5%, and 30% to get this red color here. Now again, the difference between the red on the watercolor paper in this kit is very stark compared to the mixed media paper, as you will see in a second. So here's the other end sheet. And I always worry about the maple leaves. I'm pretty sure these are maple. They tend to turn black, and it's, again, such a gamble, because I have a bunch of them in this kit, and a lot of them did not turn black, and then some of them did, so you just really don't have any control, which of course I love. I love not having control. I love being able to set everything up and do the work and then be surprised by the results. There's nothing like it, so I really, really love that. So, okay, here's some Stark. Now look at the difference between this. Same exact dye mix. Same exact everything except paper. So the reddest, the orangest of orange, reddest of red on this mixed media paper is much more rust colored than this paper, which I just found phenomenal. And you know, that again, really, I mean, if you're somebody who wants exact, you're gonna learn how to let go by doing this kind of work, because we just don't have that much of a say and that much control. I love to do different kits and I show you guys everything that I come across, but at the same time, it's still such a gamble. So let's go ahead and flip through these real quick. And then of course, this is pumpkin spice too. And I got a lot of greens in here. And then the yellow really got caught in some of the leaves in here, which I found really interesting, very interesting. Really fun. I decided not to do any flowers in this kit. I just really wanted an autumn leaf kind of vibe. And I love this size, this 5.5 by 8.5 for a mini journal for like gifts, you know what I'm saying? And you could do some of your eco dyes with like a pale blue mix for like a winter eco dye for Christmas gifts. I mean, sky is the limit here. It's just goes on and on, the possibilities. So I like this size, but again, I'm definitely, I wanted to just test out this paper, and I dig it. I dig it a lot. I'm surprised it did as well as it did. I have taken printer paper out of my eco dyes entirely, again, because I cannot get them to iron smooth, and the creases are so prominent in the printer paper that when I go to scan them and put them in my Etsy shop, the creases, I can't get them to go away. So I love eco dye on printer paper, and of course my solution to that is to create the art on mixed media paper, which is my all-time favorite, by the way. I like this is Master's Touch, and I always use Canson, so I'm big into Canson mixed media paper. But the printer paper, I will just print these on printer paper, and that's how you can have a thinner page for your journals, of course. So this has been one of those kits that I was just so excited about. I am in the spirit of autumn and Halloween now, and the weather's getting chillier, and I just couldn't be happier. I am not a fan of the heat. So here's this beautiful feather. So I really do. I picked up a pack. I threw out the top, and I picked up this pack at Hobby Lobby, and sometimes they go on sale 30% off. And then I take my pliers. You want to be really careful. These pliers have cutters in them, and if you have a pair of flat nose pliers, they work the best. And if you have a pair without the cutters, even better, because look at what I did. I was trying to flatten this quill, and I cut a bunch of my feather. But here is what you can do. You can just take your pliers and flatten down that quill, and then it will lay beautifully within your kit when you go to put it together. So, and then of course I take the feathers and I totally pull them apart. If you haven't seen that video, I'll just show you here. And then look at that. So then you end up getting this really beautiful, detailed, gorgeous print. So I did 3 other kits along with these because I really wanted to give this mixed media paper here a really good shot at. I wanted to audition it fully and I think it came through its audition with flying colors. So here's another one. See what I mean about the maple? Now this is the opposite side as well. It almost seems like the maple on the vein side of the maple leaf, it does way more black. And then the back side, you kind of just get this silhouette of the leaf itself. So just interesting. And then of course, this is the mirror image of this sheet. So you're always going to get a mirror image when you stack your pages, but the way to of course get them on the same page is of course to just fold it. So the options are endless. Here's one of those grapevine leaves right here. They are without a doubt some of my favorite leaves to print with. And then of course here's a little tiny maple and another maple, and it's just such a gamble. You never know what you're gonna get. So these stems, I'm not sure why the black silhouette happened, but it's okay. And then this had, see what I mean? This wine, I might not have had it mixed very well, and periodically when you're doing these, I use old cheap chip brushes. I need to just put together an Eco Dye masterclass. I probably will. But and you wanna, the dye will settle in the glass. It will start to separate after a few minutes in the glass itself while you're putting your kit together. So you want to stir it every other page or so, and this is the result. See how I started to get that pink happening on this page? This is the result. The dye just separates, so something to be aware of. Got this bird just going wild out in my yard right now, if you can hear it. I have loud neighbors and they're all critters, which makes me happy. It's pretty fun, except at night, which they don't really get too out of control, thank goodness. Okay, so here's some more of that pink creeping in. So you really want to guard against that if you're looking for a pumpkin spice autumn-y kind of vibe. And then here's another feather. So you can do so much with your feathers and leaves, and I'm so glad you stopped by today, and I hope that you enjoy this and try it. We are running out of time, but I'm in a part of the country where I have to stop, and you guys, that's not necessarily true, and I forget that. I forget that I'm in the States and that you guys don't have access to the stuff I have access to, and sometimes I don't have access to what you have access to. So we just adapt our stuff, you know what I mean? And do forgive me for forgetting that. I get locked into my little world and I think everybody's got snow coming, and it's not true. So many of you can do this throughout the year, and I invite you to. So thanks so much for stopping by, and I'd love for you to click that like button for me. And if you haven't subscribed yet, of course, as always, I invite you to, and I will see you next time. Have a great day.